Hi everybody, I'm Mr. Tietjen. This is a quick video to tell people about Science Olympiad for those who are interested. Science Olympiad is a co-curricular activity that's been running at LHS for about 5 years now, and you can see some pictures of teams here that have competed in the past. This is us at a state tournament during our first year, the state tournament at St. Anselm College in 2017, and here we are in 2018. Here's a picture of us at the Harvard Invitational last spring. And here's a picture of some of the people who were able to win a medal at the state tournament last March at St. Anselm. So what is Science Olympiad? Well, Science Olympiad is sort of like an academic track meet, and it consists of up to 23 events. Usually there's 23 events at a tournament, and you would choose just a couple of those events to compete in with your lab partner. So you can see here a lot of the time people are working in groups of 2 with their lab partner on build events, engineering events, study events, lab events. And I'll tell you a little bit more about those. Our goal is to be competitive at these tournaments and to learn to do science well. We also have a good time doing that, and I think we've been successful on all 3 fronts in the past. We're only going to meet on Thursdays to have a team business meeting. So unlike other teams, we're not going to have a practice schedule. Your work preparing for these tournaments really needs to happen on your own time. My classroom's available during academic block and during third lunch, and occasionally we'll have an evening open lab so that people can work on build events and other times. But ultimately, preparing for your events at these tournaments needs to be scheduled at your own pace, and you're going to work on it at home or at school with your lab partner outside of our weekly business meetings. So it's a pretty flexible time commitment in that way. Our long-term goal is to prepare for the state tournament at St. Anselm College in March, but we do go to some invitationals before that. I used to run an invitational at Dartmouth. I'm not actually going to be running that tournament this year, but we have invitationals we can go to at Harvard, MIT, and Brown if we choose to do that. So those are usually in January and February. You can receive ELO credit for Science Olympiad. We can talk about that if you're interested. Our calendar basically looks like this. This month we want to make our teams and have everybody choose their events. So I'm hoping to have rosters wrapped up in the next few weeks. In the fall and early winter, we prepare for our tournaments, so study and build during those months. January and February, we'll go to the invitationals we choose to, and in March, we have the state tournament, and that wraps up our season. Here are the events for the 2020 year. There are study events, which essentially consist of preparing for a pencil and paper test and maybe some other tasks, and you can see that there are some of those which are life science, some of them are earth-space science, some of them are physical science. There's a variety of different events. You can read about these events at the Science Olympiad National webpage as well. There's mechanical engineering events and electrical engineering events like ping pong parachute, which is essentially an indoor rocketry event, detector building, which is basically about designing microcontroller sensors, so a little bit of coding, a little bit of prototyping, a little bit of electrical engineering there. Aerospace events like Right Stuff is a flight event. Boomaliever is a structural engineering event. So all of these essentially consist of building devices that have to perform at the state tournament. So you're going to be prototyping and testing them throughout the year, and then at the state tournament you have to demonstrate how they perform. Lots of fun and usually pretty competitive events. The lab events you can see here, some of them physical science like chemistry and circuitry. Lab events include things like forensics, experimental design, code busters, as encryption and decryption. So a whole variety of things that you can learn more about if you visit the Science Olympiad webpage. So show up on Thursday, and we're hoping to have our rosters settled in the next few weeks. The sooner you turn out, the better chances you have of getting the event that you want. Typically, this team fills up pretty quickly before the end of the month, and there's usually a waiting list. So definitely show up as soon as you can. The activities fair, which is on Wednesday of the first week of school, is another place you can find out more information. Thanks very much. Hope to see you guys on one of those Thursdays in the next few weeks.